Family, what's good with you? It's your boy Milky Way J. Welcome back to another banger, and we got our second death battle video. We have two personal favorite characters of mine out of the respective shows. We got Shigaraki versus Mahito, which is My Hero Academia, versus Jujutsu Kaisen. Two top tier anime running the scene right now. We got two of the strongest villains of each respective shows. Very similar abilities. Y'all let me know who y'all think. Give me y'all predicts down in the comments early on before we get into the video. Can we get 30 likes on the video? Make sure y'all spread love to the people that mean most of y'all. Let's get into the video. I want y'all to see this because I promise you it's a crazy one. Let's get into it. I'll see y'all in there. Shigaraki versus Mahito. Now this is a slept on what if battle that people I don't know if they talk about like that. Shigaraki and Mahito.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick. And it's our job to analyze their weapons.
They're both kind of like
find out who
create and destroy type villains. Hold on.
Tenko Shimura was just a sweet, shy boy who loved superheroes.
But sometimes the hand of fate can't abide sweet, shy boys.
Ruthlessly beaten and abused by his hero-hating father, Tenko pushed beyond his emotional limits until he activated his inherent superpower, or quirk.
It wasn't something cool like flight or super strength. In his terror, he accidentally killed his family. Well, except for dear old dad. That one was intentional.
Tenko wandered the streets alone, silently begging for someone, anyone, to help him. If only a hero was there to save him. But instead, the only open hand he found belonged to the devil.
All for one. The greatest supervillain in history.
He took Tenko under his wing, feeding a hatred of everyone and everything, and grooming him to one day lead his league of villains in destroying hero society.
With that came a new name, Tomura Shigaraki, and an absolutely nightmarish quirk, Decay. It does what it says on the tin. Anything Shiggy touches with all 5 fingers turns to dust. The perfect power for someone who just wants to destroy. Pretty menacing, if not for that dork. Dorky ass costume. I get it, hands are his thing, but come on, they just look so dumb and fake.
Oh, those aren't prosthetics. Those are real hands from his family that he killed, attached to his face, and explicitly commanded to be left there by his mentor so that he would never forget his rage.
Yeah, that's insane.
Okay.
While
That's
his
insane.
use of decay started off relatively weak, it rapidly increased in power and range as Shigaraki came into his own.
Decay isn't even limited to whatever he's touching. Anything that touches something he's decaying also decays.
Spreading like an all-consuming miasma that can wipe out anything from an enormous tower to an entire city.
If decay reaches you, your only hope is to isolate the body part that is disintegrating before it gets to something vital.
Before it spreads.
After years of training with the greatest supervillain of all time, Shigaraki was finally put in charge of his own team with one mission. He must kill his master's rival, the #1 hero, All Might.
Only to fall flat on his face.
Shigaraki was a terrible leader, quick-tempered, short-sighted, and, well...
Cringe! Oh, he's just so cringe. He uses gamer lingo unironically. He whines like a baby when things don't go his way.
He do be crying.
He's the kind of guy who would say normie in real life, in front of normies.
But they say defeat is the greatest teacher of all. Only through struggle could Shigaraki manifest his dark conviction.
Right as All Might's new protege, Izuku Midoriya, was coming into his own as well.
These two rivals, the inheritors of their master's blood feud, would push themselves past their own limitations.
Especially when All Might and All for One double KO'd each other, leaving Shigaraki to lead the League of Villains all by himself.
And with the stakes higher than ever before, Shigaraki stepped up. He personally battled the monstrous Gigantomachia for a month and a half straight, and conquered other villain organizations to create the Paranormal Liberation Front. thousands of new soldiers for his personal army.
All to impress All for One's personal quack, Dr. Ujiko, who spent months upgrading Shigaraki's body to make it more like his sensei's. It might have been constant agony, but Shiggy went from Chud to Chad.
Ujiko's experimentation vastly increased Shigaraki's strength, speed, and durability, enough to match and surpass even All Might's absurd power.
Crazy.
Sharing All Might's power between them, Deku and Bakugo were able to punch an island-sized hole in a cloud that reached 24 miles into the sky. We've calculated that before to be nearly 80 million megatons of TNT, almost as much as the meteor that wiped out the dinosaurs.
And Shigaraki can now move fast enough that his body produces hypersonic shockwaves and can even catch laser beams.
And he's tough enough to survive Star and Stripes Intercontinental Ballistic Cruise Punch. Now the new name for my
That name is crazy.
Move over, Gigantic Omega Storm. Anyway, it also made a blast so big it showed up against the curvature of the Earth.
Though he might seem invincible, when Shigaraki's body is pushed hard enough, he will evolve into a state of uncontrollable power.
So Decay became, oh shit, more hands.
Shigaraki can spontaneously generate flesh into existence, seemingly oceans of it in an instant, whenever he wants. He can even use it as a type of armor to defend himself in close combat.
But that's nothing compared to Ujiko's greatest gift. Shigaraki wanted to be the new All for One, so what better way than the old man's quirk?
All for One's quirk, All for One, allows its user to steal and store quirks with just a touch.
And All for One has hundreds of them stored up, collected over the years.
Each quirk is connected to a memory of its user's essence in the form of a spirit, a vestige.
Kinda like a piece of their soul. They exist in this kinda psychic world in Shigaraki's body, and can even act as a spiritual defense should it be invaded.
And with those vestiges came quirks like super fast healing, air blast, radio waves, flight, telekinesis, teleportation of others, and the ability to track foes.
That's
He can
crazy.
even combine multiple quirks together, like in this big-ass electric Kamehameha.
However, any vestige stolen or destroyed will also remove that quirk from Shigaraki's repertoire.
Right.
They're also sentient, and some can even fight for control.
Which is when the second shoe finally dropped. Because Shigaraki also got All for One's vestige, that means All for One was now in possession of a shiny new body that he'd spent the last 15 years molding for him to take over.
Shigaraki's
Crazy.
entire existence was planned from the beginning. Why? Because All Might's previous mentor was Nana Shimura, Tenko's grandmother.
Oh, that to mess with All Might. That is some next level hating right there.
He
If you know,
manipulated
you know.
Shigaraki's
If you know, you know.
entire
You should-
life,
you should know if you hear.
all for one purpose.
So this is his feats, Shigaraki. He destroyed Deka City. He fought Gigantomachia for a month and a half. He caught laser beams. He proved the legitimacy of the quirk singularity doomsday theory. He could decay all of Japan in a week. All of Japan, the whole country. He's far stronger than All Might, and All Might was the greatest hero up until, you know. If you know, you know. And he also defeated Redestro, Stars and Stripes, Eraserhead, Mirko, and Bakugo. He got some feats. You cannot
Create a
deny
soul
it.
so corrupted it would grind away at All Might's perfect
can't deny
world, allowing All for One to take full.
Now we'll talk about it in a
But
second.
All
We'll
for
talk
One's
about it in a
possession
second.
wasn't complete, and Shiggy managed to fight his way back to the top, literally decaying his way through vestiges in the process, all to fight his rival Deku one last time.
Despite Izuku's best efforts to save him, Shigaraki was too far gone.
Yeah, he was
His
gone.
spirit decayed by
Yep.
years of venomous hatred.
And the new symbol of
There's
hope
no saving
defeated the new symbol of fear, burying All for One's grudge for good.
All that Shigaraki asked was to be remembered as the heartless destroyer he was raised to be, and not the broken, angry, crying little boy he really was deep inside.
For just that one moment, though, Shiggy got in Deku the only thing he'd been denied his whole life, the one thing his lifelong nihilistic tantrum was really all about. He got a hero who tried to save him.
That's crazy.
Ever since Cain slew his brother Abel and wetted his fields with his blood, man's greatest fear has been his fellow man.
Right.
But what if this fear took on a life of its own?
What if all that negative emotion humans felt for one another spilled from their bodies and congealed, forming, over time, a living being fueled by malice, which believes in nothing but the law of the jungle?
Well, then you'd have the special grade curse with the patch face, Mahito. Oh, I've had people tell me I've become a human disaster curse when I've had too many mojitos.
Mahito is one of the deadliest beings to ever
his
afflict
background, aka Patch Face. He's only a few months old because he's just hatred and evil. He's 5'11", an unregistered special grade curse. He's the leader of the disaster curses. He's a fan of J.R.R. Tolkien. Okay. Name means true person, and he lives in a society.
He's no mere mortal, though, but a cursed spirit.
Yep.
Innumerable spirits exist, weaker or stronger, depending on the amount of anxieties, jealousies, hatreds, and fears humans feel about them.
Like the fear of locusts, kinda weak. Or the fear of smallpox, getting stronger. Or the fear of fire. Oh, goodbye, Tokyo.
So it follows that mankind's fear of...
If you know, you know, Jujutsu Kaisen has one of the most confusing power scales of all of anime. Cursed energy is very confusing, but if you know, you know.
itself would be extremely powerful. Those
I don't myself don't fully understand it, but I understand it enough to understand the show. But I know there's a lot more to it.
negative emotions
people be
manifest
talking
as
about
Mahito,
that I be
a
seeing and
being
stuff.
composed of cursed energy.
It's basically like evil ki. Cursed energy can be used to make spirits way stronger,
they're
faster, and
explaining
tougher
it.
than
Of course
any
they're gonna
normal
explain
human.
it, though.
And
It's
it's
Death Battle.
invisible, making curses like Mahito impossible for the untrained eye to see. Only a life or death situation can galvanize a normal person to see a cursed spirit.
That also makes cursed spirits virtually immune to physical damage.
Right.
They may be physically present in space, but can only be harmed by attacks that embody spirit matter like cursed energy.
Curse
Which
energy,
makes-
yep. So the curse physiology. I like reading these out for y'all, especially if y'all don't read them, or because they do go by so quickly sometimes. Superhuman physicality, partial invulnerability, invisibility, combat adaptability, cursed energy, which has auto-regenerative reserves, black flash, barrier technique, curtain, and binding vows.
This curse is insanely hard to get rid of, like ghost cockroaches.
So this is the
or my
base of
ex.
curse
That's why you need a jujutsu
energy.
sorcerer to come in and Kaizen the shit out of them. They call it exorcism, but I like the way I said it better.
Curses and sorcerers have battled each other for millennia, waging an endless war over the fate of humanity. Almost exclusively in Japan, though, for some reason.
But Mahito was special. You see, most curses are basically dumb animals, but Mahito has so much cursed energy that it gave him sentience.
So he was recruited by Kenjaku alongside other special grade disaster curses to wreak havoc upon the world. In fact, they made Mahito their leader.
And even more frightening than intelligence and bloodlust, Mahito possessed philosophy.
Perhaps informed by the tragic meaninglessness of interhuman conflict, Mahito is an existential nihilist, believing in nothing but his own will to power. It's a dog-eat-dog world, and Mahito is the
Mahito's
wolf.
crazy,
Which
bro.
also makes him kind of a goofball. If nothing matters, why not have fun with the slaughter? Really get your steps in. He loves to dig around and toy with your emotions like a cartoon character before slitting your throat.
An appropriate analogy, considering his
Mahito
curse
went on a
technique,
run too last season. He went on a
Using
run.
his cursed energy, Mahito can control anyone's soul with just a touch, including his own. In fact, he's so good at manipulating his own soul that you can't even kill the bastard without directly targeting it.
In Jujutsu Kaisen, the soul and the body share an immutable connection. Whatever happens to the former affects the latter.
This lets Mahito squash, stretch, and shape-shift his body into literally anything he wants. Like Play-Doh, he can turn his limbs into blades or clubs, grow wings like a bird or fins
Right.
like a fish.
Auto transfiguration. He has soul manipulation, which has shape-shifting for offense, reshaping the soul and bodies of opponents, reshaping his soul to fix damage. He also has cloning, soul multiplicity, body repel, Domain expansion, which is the self-embodiment of perfection, which is a 0.2 second variation. Instant body of distorted killing, enhanced physicality, exoskeleton with blades. Now, honestly, y'all have to give me props for the way I be reading, especially these big ass words, because
Reform his
I'd
body
have got
around
clowned for some of the
injuries,
troubles
or
I've
even
had on
create
this channel
clones.
Curse
at
users are
times, and
naturally
it just be
harmed by their
a
own
circumstantial
ability. Should he touch a
situation.
human, though,
You feel
his
me?
alterations to their body are instantly fatal.
And since he's attacking your soul, those physical wounds are gonna be impossible to heal.
Even if his alteration isn't directly fatal, the human body won't last more than a few moments in a transfigured state.
All that with one touch.
Damn.
God, I thought herpes was bad.
His powers mean Mahito treats humans as effectively disposable dolls that he can gleefully experiment on. The more casualties, the better, especially if he gets to break your spirit first and watch you suffer.
Even more twisted is when he combines two transfigured humans together for soul multiplicity, essentially a giant torrent of body horror flesh that he repels at an opponent. Ugh.
Mahito is unbelievably creative with his application of idle transfiguration, and despite being a newborn curse, consistently keeps experienced sorcerers on the back foot.
It helps that he's a quick study who's picked up a number of different curse techniques, like the Black Flash.
By applying cursed energy within 1 microsecond of an impact with an enemy, space itself will distort, exponentially amplifying its force by a factor of
So technically,
2.5.
Shigaraki
Not
shouldn't
only
be able to
does
see
this hurt
Mahito,
like
right?
a mother, it restores your curse technique and gets you fully in the zone.
And would require reflexes moving nearly 1,000 times the speed of sound.
What
It's
the-
no surprise then that Mahito also unlocked the pinnacle of sorcerer techniques, the domain expansion.
Oh
Right.
shit! More hands! A domain is like a barrier of cursed energy, but if you're caught inside, Mahito can use idle transfiguration instantly without even needing to touch you.
It's called the self-embodiment of perfection, the ultimate expression of Mahito's absolute control over his victim's body and soul. The only time it ever failed was against the student sorcerer and Mahito's archenemy, Yuji Itadori.
Because not only was Yuji a barf-inducing goody little two-shoes who believed in the inalienable rights of all living things, blah, 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 he also had a curse inside of him,
The king
Sukuna.
of curses, Sukuna.
which meant Mahito's ability affected both souls in Yuji's body. Sukuna didn't like that. No surprise, and kicked Mahito's ass, forcing Patchface to fight with a handicap whenever facing his pink-haired menace.
Yuji's belief in the value of human life flew directly in the face of the world that Mahito knew to be cruel and meaningless. So he made it his mission to crush Yuji's spirit before killing him, murdering his friends, defiling their corpses, and brutally
Damn.
battering him before going in for the kill.
And he's got the strength to do it. Mahito's one of the most powerful curses in the world, and
Facts.
his growth is exponential.
Fellow disaster curse Jogo was able to summon a massive meteor.
Jogo-
capable of
Jogo
reducing
slept
the
on
city
too.
of
Jogo
Shibuya
was
to
strong.
ash.
That'd take an energy of over 800 kilotons of TNT.
And Mahito can take as good as he can give, especially
Fight
when
back,
in the
nigga,
throes
fight
of
back.
struggle against Yuji, he evolved, unlocking a vastly more powerful form, the instant body of distorted killing.
Complete with armored exoskeleton and arm blades, this was a taste of the almighty curse Mahito was growing into. A true blight on all men.
All right, his feats. He landed a Black Flash in a microsecond. He transfigured 1,000 humans in Shibuya. He survived withstanding Gojo's unlimited void for 0.2 seconds. He tanked numerous Black Flashes from Yuji and Todo. He slammed Yuji and cratered the ground. He defeated Nanami. that was a tough one. Ultimate Mechamaru, Nobara, and Todo. Damn.
Mankind.
It wouldn't last. In a bitter
Todo.
battle of resolve,
Damn.
Yuji won out. In a dog-eat-dog world, there was now
If you know, you
a
know.
bigger wolf.
So he tucked tail and ran away like a bitch. And what do you know? Life suddenly became a whole lot more meaningful the second it looked like it was about to end.
All that gleeful nihilism, just a bitter hypocrisy in the end.
For him, maybe.
He got
but
saved,
Mahito
bruh.
found a convert in his archenemy. After a battle that wiped out thousands of innocent people, Yuji's youthful spirit was gone. The only thing left that mattered was exorcising this curse.
In a way, that was Mahito's final victory, the destruction of another human being's soul. He may not have been around to see it, but the curse Mahito inflicted on the world would bring it to its knees. Hey, do you see that join button? Yeah, that one. That's your ticket to being a Death Battle champion. As a champion, you get all sorts of exclusive Death
All right, let's get into it.
All right, the combatants
The
are
real
set,
fight.
and we've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a death battle!
Whoa. Whoa. That's Mahito.
I'd heard of a powerful villain stalking these parts. My organization is going to tear this putrid world down around us. We could use a freak of your talents.
Little old me. Do I want to be king of the social rejects? How about I bring them your head instead?
Fine by me. Let's call this your audition. Sick of 'em?
Oh yeah, let's get into it.
Game over.
I think this is gonna be a good ass fight. Let me know now who y'all think win. Hey, timestamp it if you marking it right now. Let me know who y'all think gonna win this. I should have said that right before this fight started. I think Shigaraki is gonna win.
Did you actually just say that?
God, how lame!
Fight back.
Audition over.
Did I get the part?
Decay!
Stay boxing. This will be a really good fight though.
That all you got?
Domain expansion.
Oh yeah, they fighting.
I can read your soul. You're just a scared little boy whose daddy was mean and wants to make it everyone else's problem. Grow up.
All for one.
My masterpiece.
Use the K through the domain expansion.
You only hate humanity because you were born that way. Totally random. I hate them for a reason. You grow up.
Sheesh. Shigaraki.
Like a bitch.
With their complex power sets, this match was a puzzle to figure out, which is why we're breaking it down to 3 categories.
All right,
Physical
let's hear
stats, survivability, and their powers.
But first, let's address one thing. Could Shigaraki even see Mahito? He's an invisible
What did I say earlier in the video? How is he gonna see him?
curse after all.
Cursed energy and quirks are notably different, and Shigaraki wouldn't be able to see curses normally. However, even regular humans can spontaneously develop the ability to see curses in life and death scenarios. And with the Surge quirk, Shigaraki would have had no problem tracking it.
So seeing Mahito wouldn't have been an issue. With that out of the way, we can jump into their stats.
This
All right.
was no contest. Despite the disaster curses being able to destroy entire cities with their cursed energy, Shigaraki scaling to Deku and Bakugo meant he was calculably millions of times stronger.
He was faster too, considering he could react to light beams.
Yeah,
while
he
Mahito's Black Flash
yeah,
capped
he was
out at
much
nearly
faster and
1,000 times
stronger.
the speed of sound. Nothing to scoff at, but Shiggy was
That was kind of the
thousands
stuff
times
that I was
faster.
leaning to when I thought he was gonna
But
win.
survivability was a little trickier to figure out.
Yep, in terms of raw durability, Shigaraki was a lot tougher, and his ability to generate new flesh meant that he could heal any wounds he might receive super easy.
However, Mahito is a curse and is immune to the kind of overwhelming physical damage Shigaraki could dish out. Not only that, Mahito's regenerative ability via idle transfiguration meant that he'd come back from anything short of spiritual damage.
Considering Mahito's unique curse
Right.
body, he should actually get the edge in survivability.
No,
Which
fact.
presents a
That's a
crucial
fact.
question. Could Shigaraki even kill a curse like Mahito in the first place?
Or would Mahito's unkillability give him the time he needed to eventually put Shiggy down with idle transfiguration?
It all comes down to their powers.
Shigaraki had a lot
He
more
had a lot
variety
more.
with all of the
A lot
crazy
more.
quirks All For One had collected over all the years, but none that we know of could properly kill a curse. That didn't mean idle transfiguration was a surefire bet either, though.
Of all things, Shigaraki's vestiges served as a spiritual shield from the effects of idle transfiguration. The fact that Mahito could not avoid targeting Sukuna while attacking Yuji meant that he couldn't target specific souls inside a person.
And Shiggy has hundreds of soul-like entities inside of him. Sure, each one down means he
that
loses
makes a
quirk,
lot of
but
sense.
that's more than enough time to land a single hit with Decay, especially considering how much faster Shiggy is.
And Mahito has no way to defend against Shigaraki's primary quirk. Decay has
Decay.
affected spiritual beings in the past. Again, vestiges. In fact, he was able to damage Deku's vestige and have that damage transferred to the Deku in the real world.
Mahito may be made of spirit energy, but he still has a physical form. In fact, sorcerers that couldn't naturally target the soul were able to fight him on even footing. No reason to think Shiggy wouldn't decay him like everyone else.
Giving Shigaraki the third and final edge. It was a unique duel to the death, but Shigaraki's overwhelming might, unstoppable powers, and deadly
Okay. So they're saying because Shigaraki won, well, he won because he was far stronger. He had a lot more arsenal and array of powers. His vestiges protected him from idle transfiguration, which that's a key one. All For One collected so many vestiges within him, which are almost like souls. His idle transfiguration works on the soul, so he has to pretty much kill all of them before he can kill just Shigaraki. Okay.
decay spelled the end for the disaster curse.
Nothing else to say. You really gotta hand it to Shigaraki.
The winner is Tomura Shigaraki.
Hey, that's a W video. Shout out to Death Battle. They always go crazy with the animations and they're always going to hit you with all of the facts and feats on both, and they're going to make it as even as a fight as they can. I thought Shigaraki was going to win from the start, like I said, because I just feel like his arsenal was too big, and Mahito's hard to kill, but Shigaraki just had too much of an arsenal with the All For One. Let me know how y'all felt about it. This is our second death battle. Check out the first one if you haven't seen it. But we had Shigaraki versus Mahito, a great video. Shout out to Death Battle. The original link to the video will be down below. And I appreciate y'all. Let's keep this thing rolling. Can we get 30 likes on the video? Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. It's your boy Milky Way J, and I'm gone.